Hi everyone, so today is video 16 talking about angles and vertical angles, and actually I threw in one more called linear pair angles. But we have to recall from pre-algebra and years past what an angle is, okay? So I'm giving you the most simple form here. An angle is something created by two rays. So this is a ray because it has one distinct endpoint and goes on forever. That arrow tells me it goes on forever in one direction. So if I take two rays and their endpoints meet, the actual turn that they create is called the angle. So this is the turn that they create from those two rays, from one ray to the other. That's called an angle. Okay, so that's an angle. Now we can name angles lots of different ways. If I put letters here, A, B, and C, okay, that point B, that end point, has a name. It's called the vertex. And so we could call this angle A, B, C. You'd have to use all three letters, and the vertex would have to be in the middle. So I'd start it, think of it as starting at A, going towards B, and then over to C. I could also call this angle B if I wanted to. Now, angles can come in all different shapes and sizes. You can have an acute angle, which is less than 90 degrees. You can have a right angle, which we've talked about a lot in the summer videos, which is exactly 90 degrees. And you can have an obtuse angle, which is greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. Okay, so you can see that obtuse angle, that turn. Now, the coolest of cool angles is the straight angle. And this is the largest angle that we're actually going to discuss in geometry. So if you ever get an answer where an angle is greater than 180 in geometry, we're not going to have that. There are other angles that are bigger called a reflex angle and a full rotation of a circle, but those are more rotations. So the biggest angle we can have is 180 degrees. Now, what you might notice about this angle is that it's created from a straight either segment or line, and the angle actually almost looks like the sunset, right? Like a horizon. And that's a really important thing for us to look for in pictures, because things that create straight angles, that means we know that they equal 180 degrees. All right, so let's talk about vertical angles. Vertical angles, if I take two lines, and I intersect them, they create several sets of vertical angles. Angle A and angle C are vertical angles to each other. Angle B and angle D are vertical angles to each other. So if you think about it, it's angles whose sides kind of extend into straight lines. We call those opposite rays. All right, what's really neat about vertical angles is that they are equal. And in geometry, we call that congruent. We even have a symbol for it. I'm going to show it to you now, but we're going to learn about it in school. It's a squiggle with equals because it means the same size and the same shape. So angle A and angle C are equal. They are congruent. And we put these little hash marks on them to make us know that they're equal and congruent. And then angle B and angle D are equal. Now, they're not equal to A and C. They're equal to each other. So I'm going to actually use two hash marks so I know that those correspond to each other. So how can we use this really cool skill, this really cool definition? Well, if I look and I see two lines that have been crossed, I can see that they're vertical angles. Okay? They almost form like an hourglass. I'm going to mark them equal. And then I can write an equation to solve for x. So I can say that 2x plus 5 equals 75. And now I get to use that algebra I know. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides, and I get 2x equals 70. And then I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, so x equals 35. So that's the way to use vertical angles and algebra together. All right, last thing I want to talk about is linear pair angles. Okay, well, first of all, it has the word pair. So hopefully you know that pairs of things are two. So it's two angles that form a line, which we said already that if they form a line, they actually form a straight angle. Oh my gosh, they form a straight angle. So, for example, this angle here and this angle here, look, Do you see the horizon that they've created? They create a straight line, so a straight angle. So linear pair angles are going to be equal to 180 degrees. So now I can use that fact to write an equation. 5x plus 20 plus 7x plus 40 equals 180 degrees. Now I got to do some yucky algebra, right? I got to combine the like terms. So I have a 5x and a 7x, which gives me 12x. I have a 20 and a 40, which gives me 60. All right, and then I subtract 60 from both sides. Whatever I do to one side, I got to do to the other. And I get 120, and then I divide by 12 on both sides. So x equals 10. So look, I was able to use geometry to write an algebraic equation. So I got to use geometry and algebra together. And what you're going to learn this year is really geometry is a great picture of algebra. All right, guys, that's it for today. Have a great day.